Dear students, in this video I will explain you the poetic devices used by the poet Kurt Skinner in the poem Rain on the Roof. Let us begin with the rhyme scheme of the poem. Now let us see the first stanza. Look at the last word of every line. The last word of the first line is hover. Let us name this word hover as A. Now the last word of the second line is spheres. Now hover and spheres, these two words are not rhyming. So we will name spheres as B. Now look at the last word of the third line. It's darkness. Darkness is not rhyming with spheres or hover. So we will name this word as C. Now look at the last word of the fourth line. It's tears. Now tears, students, you observe, is rhyming with spheres. So as we had named spheres as B, we will name tears also as B. Now let us move to the last word of the fifth line. It's pillow. Now you see, pillow is not rhyming with any of these words: tears, darkness, spheres or hover. So let us name this word pillow as D. Then in the sixth line, the last word is bed. This word is also not rhyming with any of these words: pillow, tears, darkness, spheres or hover. So we will name this as E. Then move on to the next line, last word. It's patter. Now patter is also not rhyming with any of these words: bed, pillow, tears, darkness, spheres or hover. So we will name this word patter as F. Then the last line, last word is overhead. This word, again you will observe, students, that overhead is rhyming with bed. So as we had named bed as E, so we will again here name this word overhead as E. So what is the rhyme scheme of this first stanza? It's A, B, C, B, D, E, F, E. So this is the rhyme scheme of the poem. If you are ever asked in a question to write down the rhyme scheme of the poem, you must always find out the rhyme scheme of the first stanza to write down the rhyme scheme of the poem. And if you are mentioned the stanza, then of that particular stanza you will find the rhyme scheme and write down the answer. Now let's see the poetic devices used in the poem. The first one is alliteration. What is this figure of speech? The repetition of a consonant sound in two or more consecutive words. That is, if you see that in a line two or more words have the initial consonant sound repeated, then you can say that the figure of speech is alliteration. Now look at this example. When the humid shadows hover. Now the consonant sound has already been underlined. It's the her sound. Humid, her. Hover, her. The her sound has been repeated and therefore it's an example of alliteration. Now look at the next example. What a bliss to press the pillow. Now here again you see the consonant sound has been underlined. It's the per sound. The per of the word press and the per of the word pillow. These sound has been repeated. pa sound has been repeated, and so the figure of speech of this line is alliteration. Now let's move to the next figure of speech, and it's onomatopoeia. What is this figure of speech? The use of sound words to create a dramatic effect. That is, every now and then we hear various sounds, different types of sounds that are produced around us. Now, if we can exactly quote those sounds with the help of words, it becomes an example of onomatopoeia. Now, the example that is there in the poem is, as I listen to the patter. This patter, this word, is the sound that's made when the rain falls, when the raindrops fall, when rain falls on the rooftop. Another example of onomatopoeia in the poem is every tinkle on the shingles. Now tinkle, I have already said you, it's a soft ringing sound, and this is produced by the raindrops. So this sound is therefore an example of onomatopoeia. Now let's move on to the next figure of speech. It's personification. What is this figure of speech? To give a non-living thing or plant or animal human quality, that is, other than human beings. When a non-living thing is given a human quality, or a plant or an animal is given a human quality, we can say that the figure of speech is personification. For example, gently weeps in rainy tears. Now who weeps? Darkness weeps. The poet has given darkness the human quality of weeping. Therefore, the line gently weeps in rainy tears is an example of personification. Now let's move to the next figure of speech. It's transferred epithet. What is this figure of speech? The transfer of adjective from its original place to another place. In other words, it can be said that it is used with a noun when it refers to another noun. In simpler words, it can be said that the epithet is transferred. What is epithet? Epithet means adjective. The adjective is transferred from its original place to a new place. What does it mean? That is, we all know adjectives are used before nouns. So, when it is transferred from its original place, that is, it is used actually with a different noun, which is something unusual, it can be said that it's an example of transferred epithet. Now look at this example. And the melancholy darkness. Melancholy means sad. Now darkness cannot be sad. It's the human beings who can be sad. So the poet used this adjective melancholy with the noun darkness. So it's an example of transferred epithet. Another example, and 1,000 dreamy fancies. Dreamy is here an adjective. Fancies is here, it means imagination, it's the noun. Now, human beings can be dreamy, not fancies. Fancies cannot be dreamy. So, as the adjective dreamy has been used with the noun fancies, so it's an example of transferred epithet. So, these are all the poetic devices used by the poet in this poem. I hope students you have understood. Read the poem, go through the poetic devices and practice. That's all in this video. Thank you. Have a nice day.